Welcome to your last year of elementary school. Would any boy or girl like to share some of their favorite stories from school so far? Anyone at all?
Really? No one's got the balls to do it? I'll do it. I'm not gonna try too hard on this. Is that okay? I was at a school the other day and noticed how many kids were on their phones. It kinda seemed like it was their best friend. Now, I went to elementary school before cell phones were a major thing, so I thought you'd be interested to meet my first friend. He's very old, cannot walk. It's my Gameboy! My Gameboy and I were best buddies in elementary school. I've been trying to think back to stories that happened in elementary school, and I noticed none of those stories have to do with learning. 7 years of school, and all I can remember is playing my Gameboy at lunch. I know. You're proud of me. I can feel it. There were a few other stories, but they're all about slacking off. And somehow, I still graduated. So, I'm glad you're here. I thought I'd tell you everything I remember about elementary school, and then you can tell me if it was a success. We'll get back to the Gameboy in a minute. So, back in the first grade, I had a humongous crush on this girl, Cardi B. Not her real name, but it was the first girl I wanted to Cardi K. Can you guess what the rest of the word is? This is pretty easy. Go ahead, type it in the comments. K stands for kidnap. Whoa, let me explain. In the first grade, my friends and I thought the best way to talk to a girl was to capture her in a trap. Every day at recess, we'd head to the giant hill of sand and start digging a hole with our hands, and we were gonna cover it with sticks. And you're right, that doesn't work. If some of my viewers are in the first grade and you have a crush, I've learned from my mistakes. Here's my advice. Number 1, when you're digging a hole, use a shovel. It is way more efficient. Number 2, if you take time to find out what your crush likes, like her favorite candy, you can leave it in the bottom of the hole. That way she has something to eat when she's down there. Boom, you're married. Do you remember when you'd have an assembly in school? Those were my favorite, because you didn't have to do schoolwork. It could be a 3-hour lecture about all the different types of bananas. And at the end, I'd be like, I don't want to watch that again. But I would. If they really wanted you to learn stuff, they should have made the presentations more exciting. Like one of the only assemblies I remember was in the 3rd grade. There was this guy. He was the first person I ever saw that made me think, this is what a cool person looks like. I bet if you had an exciting presentation about stuff you needed to learn, kids would remember it. Hi, you kids. Our first song is about how to behave in class. Can all rock bands just only tour through elementary schools? I would go to that show. So what do you think? Am I acing school so far? My mom seemed to like it. Growing up, my mom was nice enough to volunteer for my class to do arts and crafts. My favorite one was she found all these stone slates from like a recycling center or something, and so she brought them into the school to have everyone in class paint pictures on them for their parents. It was nice of my mom to do, and it got us out of schoolwork for like 2 hours. No learning if my mom's in school. So I would like to present to my mom the Mom of the Year Award. Thank you, Mom. You earned this. And you get to keep it all weekend until I have to return it to the mom I stole it from. Like I said, one of my best friends in school was my Game Boy. I had other friends too. They also had Game Boys. My 3 favorite games were Super Mario Land, Lethal Weapon, and Home Alone. And it's actually because of this Game Boy that I met Chuck Norris. What the? I'm sorry.
I told you.
I'm sorry.
Never speak my name.
It's not that Chuck Norris. There was a janitor in my school that shared the same name with the very memeable Chuck Norris. He didn't know martial arts. In fact, he couldn't hit anybody without getting fired. But since we were like 8 years old, we thought he was the coolest guy ever. But I now have a bone to pick with him. Here's why. We were all at lunch playing like Super Mario Land, and I looked up to see a janitor guy looking at the Game Boy. And his name badge said Norris. And he said, "Oh, I love Super Mario Land." And I said, "Huh, do you make a habit of talking to children, strange man?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "All right, I guess as long as you're cool with it." At some point, we asked Mr. Norris his first name.
I am Chuck Norris.
And all my friends were like, "Whoa." And I said, "Wow, Your career is really taking a turn. Champion martial artist turned janitor. Sounds more like a Suck Norris to me. But who am I to judge a slacker? I loved him. Even though he wasn't actual Chuck Norris, he was the best possible knockoff version, like a Nuck Chorus. Sitting there pretending to do martial arts with his mop. I think there's a little bit of Nuck Chorus in all of us. There's always someone cooler than you. But your friends just let you think you were the coolest guy there is. And you are cool. In a very Nuck Chorus kind of way. So what do you think? Were my elementary school years a success? Please give me a grade rating. You know, like an A+ or a B- and a written evaluation that I will show to my mother. Man, I know I work hard, but looking back, I always feel like such a slacker. Maybe that's why I get so much done, because I think I'm always not trying hard enough. Thanks for being part of the Clarkers, and thanks to huion for sponsoring the channel. Last, I want to say thank you to my animation team, Penny, Chris, and Jeff. They all work really hard, and weekly videos would not be possible without them. I'm ItsAlexClark, and I'll see you somewhere. Bye!